Whenever I need to send roses that are guaranteed to make someone's day, the only place I trust is 1-800-Flowers.com. With 1-800-Flowers, my friends and family always receive stunning, high-quality bouquets that they absolutely love. Right now, when you buy a dozen multicolored roses, 1-800-Flowers will double your bouquet to 2 dozen roses. To claim this special double roses offer, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/WWO. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/WWO.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Here for the Lowe's early Black Friday deals? You're right on time for some of our biggest savings. We're talking up to 50% off select major appliances, plus up to an extra 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Holiday lights going up soon? Select ladders are up to 50% off right now. Get Black Friday prices without the Black Friday crowds. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 11/19. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Looking for these better days.
It is Monday, November 17th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. Lots of interesting results on NFL Sunday, Week 11 yesterday, which include the title hopes of the Kansas City Chiefs dwindling fast. We have Monday Night Football tonight, which will wrap up Week 11 in the NFL. It is a game here in Vegas between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Dallas Cowboys. We will cook up a little same-game parlay for that. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. Mackenzie, before we get into all of the games, breaking down some of the biggest storylines from yesterday, NFL Sunday, let's acknowledge we submitted our first prop sheet this week. I sent out the email on Sunday morning. You got the prop sheet, the new Better Day prop sheet. It is a collaborative effort from all of us here at Better Day, featuring some insights from our fantasy guru, Chris Dell, Pro Better Steve Fezzik, myself, you, Mackenzie, other people that I talked to over the course of the week or so. And it didn't do well in the first week. It was 11 and 15 on the plays, but some of them were pretty easy, like no contest wins, and others were, when I say like a 0.5 loss, like literally a 0.5 loss. Like there were 2 losses on the prop sheet, Mackenzie, that were longest rush over 13.5 for Travis Etienne. He had a 13-yard rush. Longest rush, 15.5 yards for another player that had a 15-yard rush. So it was like literally 2 losses by a half a yard, which, hey, if you got a better line when you placed your bet on whatever sports book you were at, maybe those losses turned to wins and you wound up positive on the day. But also we had some runaway winners. Michael Wilson for the Cardinals, over like 40-something yards. Are you kidding me? The guy had 15 catches for 185 yards yesterday. So it was fun. It was fun putting it together, and that's something that we were going to offer to you Better Day subscribers moving forward here for NFL Sunday, sending out the prop sheet on Sunday morning. Again, always shop around, get the best of the number wherever you can. Let's talk about what we saw yesterday, Mac, and I want to start with Sunday Night Football because it's freshest in our minds, and the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Detroit Lions 16-9 in what could be a playoff preview. For the second week in a row, the Eagles win ugly. They scored 16 points here against the Lions. Last week, only 10 points in a win against the Packers. But the Eagles' defense, Mac, maybe we need to start giving more credit to what Vic Fangio has done with this Eagles defense.
Yeah, they keep getting better and better. The last 2 weeks, 7 points allowed to the Packers, probably one of the top 3 teams in their conference odds-wise, and then the other top team in their conference odds-wise, the Lions. They allow 9 points. Jared Goff with a 9 QBR. I've gone back. I was checking his game log. A few years. It's definitely his worst as a Lion, if not his worst in his career. What is there to say? I mean, they are defending Super Bowl champions. They're 8-2 for a reason.
Yeah, seriously. Offensively, not a great performance all around, specifically for Jared Goff, who was pathetic. 14 of 37, threw for 255 yards, so that kind of skews things. Threw a touchdown.
Yeah, 14 for 37, by the way. I was curious. No one's thrown for 37 attempts and made less than 14 pass attempts since 1998.
Yeah.
You just don't see those stat lines anymore in the modern NFL.
And the throws that he was missing, they were so bad. Like Chris Collinsworth kept on commenting on the broadcast.
I don't know where that one was going to.
Here's a guy that's just off right now, Mike. He's off right now, Mike. But he's right. Like Jared Goff was uncomfortable. The Eagles pass rush was getting to him. He threw the moment where you knew that he was off was when he did that jump throw that got deflected at the line of scrimmage. They had so many passes deflected at the line of scrimmage. But the jump throw, and Collinsworth, to give him credit, again, he pointed it out. He was like, when do you see Jared Goff doing a jump throw? But he's right. You don't see Jared Goff doing that. He was clearly looking pulling at strings, trying to find something that was going to work and get the ball to his receivers. He just looked off. The Dan Campbell fourth down decisions were off.
Which of the five didn't you like?
Which of the five that I didn't like? All five that they didn't get. Here's something. The part about some of the fourth down decisions that bother me are not so much the decisions to go for it. It's the play decisions, right? But when I say it's the play decisions, I have to remind people all the time, and you and I have talked about this a lot on this pod and on other shows. Your fourth down decision, it's not only about the fourth down play. It's about the third down play.
Yeah.
If you're at 3rd and 3 at midfield, you already know that unless you take a sack or a penalty, you're going for it on fourth down. So if you know you're going for it on 4th and 3, why not run the ball on 3rd and 3? Why not try and gain a yard or two? Why not try and gain a first down? Instead, you throw a low percentage pass, and now you're passing again on 4th down, and the defense just knows exactly what you're going to do. And I get it. The Eagles did stuff the run a lot, and there was that earlier series where the Lions ran the ball on 3rd down and 4th down and got stopped both times. But even in that aspect, in that situation, when they ran it on 3rd down, I was like, okay, let's pass it now on 4th down. But they didn't. So
my least favorite one was at the goal line. It's 3rd and 3 or 3rd and goal from the 4. And they run, it's you're not going to be that much. I mean, Aaron Rodgers talks about how he doesn't care about getting a false start on a 2-point conversion. It's you're going to have to throw it in from the 7 or the 2. It doesn't make that much of a difference. The time where getting an inch closer matters least is not at midfield, but it's 3rd and goal from the 4. They end up going for it on 4th and 3 because they have to. I mean, you don't have to. That was my least favorite call. Even more than going for the 4th down was running on 3rd and goal from the 4.
Well, they got to go back to the drawing book, but you know what this means for us, Mackenzie? It means
Lions off a loss.
It means
it's
Lions.
The system.
It means Lions off a loss. That's right. We look at the Lions against the Giants next week, and that is going to be off of a loss. So
13-0 straight up in ATS. Dan Campbell off a loss. Yep. 11.5 on the fast track at home. I don't mind it. I'll probably lay it. I'll find a way to lay it.
All right. Let's talk about those Giants as we recap the games from yesterday. Jameis Winston did not go over his passing yardage prop. He threw for 201 yards. I mean, Devin Singletary had 2 rushing touchdowns. I didn't even know Devin Singletary was still in the league. I mean, yes, I did. I'm not an idiot. But seriously, Devin Singletary had 2 rushing touchdowns for the Giants. They made it close. This was a fight here with the Packers. The Packers get a win. Jordan Love left the game for a little bit, but then came back in. He winds up having an important drive there at the end. Incredible plays. Like Christian Watson made an incredible catch in that game. 27-20 was the final score, right?
Yeah.
The Packers now, this is not the first time. This is not the second time. They constantly play ugly football games. And when I've brought this up to you in the past, you're like, well, Matt LaFleur doesn't care. He only cares about winning, right? All LaFleur cares about is winning. But in my opinion, it's we've seen this team play down to their level of competition. We've seen this team in games where on paper you'd think they'd blow out the opponent, and they struggle. And I'm just wondering, even though they're sitting here at 6-3-1, and they're right behind the Bears in the division, and they have 2 games with the Bears coming up, right? So, they have an opportunity to win the division. Their defense is playing well. We know what their offense is, I guess, capable of, but we're just not seeing it maybe a lot. I just wonder if the Packers really are the contenders that I thought they were, or if this team is pretty fraudulent.
We're going to talk about the Chiefs, who have a good chance to miss the playoffs, and I think they might be the best team in the league, which means nobody in this league is that great, and nobody in this league, there's like 10, 15 teams that I could seriously see in the right circumstance, and the Packers are one of those teams. Very interesting odds here. NFC North, have you seen these yet updated?
No. Read it to me.
The Detroit Lions are favored at 6-4 at plus 120, Packers plus 140, and the 7-3 division-leading Bears have no faith by the market, nor me. They are plus 450.
Yeah, well, it's the schedule. It's what's ahead of them, right? The Bears have to play the Packers
good
twice.
teams now.
Yeah. They have to play the Packers twice. They have to play the Eagles in Philadelphia, and they have to play the Lions the last game of the season. And they have to go to San Francisco to play the 49ers. This is a very difficult end of the season stretch here for the Chicago Bears. So, yes, even though they are in first place right now, they are not getting any love here in the market. Bears did beat the Vikings yesterday, 19-17. They get the win at the end. JJ McCarthy, Mac, was this the wrong decision by Kevin O'Connell?
It looks a lot better that Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions and 0 touchdowns on Sunday Night Football. It changes the narrative a little bit. Obviously, doesn't matter, doesn't help your team, but I don't know if keeping Sam Darnold was the choice, but going to JJ McCarthy was clearly a mistake. Just ask Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that was the worst. Justin Jefferson, the body language, he's so frustrated by his quarterback. And yeah, you mentioned Sam Darnold with the 4 interceptions. Seahawks, though, even with those 4 interceptions by Darnold, still put themselves in position to kick a game-winning field goal at the end of the game. They lose to the Rams 21-19. Rams are 9-2 now. Seahawks are 7-3. And this is Darnold against the Rams, right? Last year in the playoffs, the 9-sack performance, the worst game that we've seen, it was against Sean McVay and the Rams. Maybe the Rams have Sam Darnold figured out.
I mean, Sam Darnold hasn't played great. I guess he played good against the Bucs. Maybe it is just a Rams thing. I'm not sure why that would be, but the two worst games,
the two worst games in the last 2 years for Sam Darnold both came against the Rams. This was the worst game that he's played since the seeing ghost games against the Patriots when he was with the Jets all those years ago.
And in the division now, Seahawks, let's see. I think it must be over. Yeah, Rams minus 220.
Yep.
Seahawks plus 310.
Yep.
What a massive swing that field goal would have been.
Yeah, and the Rams sitting here, they are in contention with the Philadelphia Eagles to be the number 1 seed now in the NFC, but the tiebreak goes to the Philadelphia Eagles, who won that game. So that's going to be interesting to see how it ends up as the rest of the season plays out. Matthew Stafford didn't exactly have a great game, but
he's still the MVP favorite now somehow.
He's still the MVP favorite because 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Like, he's still the MVP favorite on a team that is 9-2. Only 2 interceptions on the season. Yeah. He doesn't turn the football over, and he consistently puts his teams in position to win. So
it's funny because no one really deserves it this year. We're not seeing any amazing year. So you can either give it to the up-and-comer Drake May, who's second favorite at plus 185, or give it like the Lifetime Achievement Award to Matthew Stafford. It seems like a very narrative-based decision, but either of them are deserving. But no one's letting the world on fire like Josh Allen last year or anything.
Well, speaking of Josh Allen, he is now back up to being the 3rd favorite after he has a monster game in which he throws for 3 touchdowns and runs for 3 touchdowns as the Bills beat the Bucs 44-32. I still don't think Josh Allen should be in the MVP conversation. He's got 7 interceptions this season. He's turning the ball.
He wasn't having a good game until he got a 6th touchdown. Then it's like, all right, 6 is a lot.
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't having a good season until yesterday's blow-up performance. Speaking of 3 touchdowns, I mean, Sean Tucker, what a monster game from Sean Tucker yesterday for the Tampa Bay Bucs. That was a monster performance. The Jaguars blow out the Chargers 35-6. Shout out the Trench Report. Called this one as the 2nd biggest mismatch of the week in the Trench Report, and they were 3-point home dogs, and they dominate the Chargers 35-6. 49ers blow out the Cardinals 41-22. So nice having Brock Purdy back, Mackenzie.
Absolutely. He's played great. Like, I don't want to hear any Purdy slander from Nick Wright types or anything. Mac Jones has been all right, but the two best quarterback performances we've seen from a 49ers quarterback was week 1 at Seattle, pretty tough place to play, where he had the game-winning drive at an 85 QBR, and then this game where he was nearly flawless with the, kind of put it away early, but still great to see Purdy back. Best 49ers quarterback since when? Steve Young, maybe?
Yeah, okay. That's a bold...
I'll take him over Kaepernick. I'll take him over Alex Smith. I think he's the best 49er quarterback since Steve Young, unless I'm forgetting somebody.
Bold. Okay. Panthers with a 30-27 win over the Atlanta Falcons. Bryce Young throwing for 448 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm going to call out... Do you realize, Mackenzie?
Jeff Garcia? No, I'm going to give it to Brock Purdy. Anyway.
Here we go. This season, all right? This season, the highest passing yardage games this season belong to Bryce Young,
Ridiculous.
Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson.
And Jacoby Brissett.
Set
the record today with 47 completions.
Yeah, and Jacoby Brissett. So the 4 highest passing yardage games of 2025 are Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, Bryce Young, and Jacoby Brissett. What?
There's a reason why they have kind of de-emphasized yardage leader on the season, because we know it's about efficiency. When you're behind, when you're terrible, when you're at Atlanta, I guess, you go crazy.
My goodness. Yeah, that was something. Also, it was something to watch the Ravens come from behind and beat the Browns 23-16. We were on the Browns, so I don't care. They covered 7.5. Thank you. This was all about
just
the
like
Browns.
We wrote it up. We're going to go 11 for 26. We're going to use 2 quarterbacks.
Yes. This was all about the Browns defense and the way that they played against Lamar Jackson. Lamar goes under his rushing yardage prop, another win for us. And here's the thing. Dylan Gabriel leaves the game with a concussion, and Shedeur Sanders comes in relief. Why do I need a headline on the front page of ESPN.com to tell me that Shedeur Sanders enters the game in relief of Dylan Gabriel, who's out with a concussion? Was there an article that said Mason Rudolph comes in relief of Aaron Rodgers? No, there was an article that said Aaron Rodgers could be out for some time with a break in his wrist. I didn't get an article. I didn't get an alert on my phone about Mason Rudolph coming into the game. Did I get it? Did I get an alert about Kirk Cousins coming in for Michael Penix, who was injured? Did I get an alert on my phone for Andy Dalton coming in when Bryce Young had to go into the blue tent for a little bit? But no, we got a front page article about Shedeur Sanders coming into the game for the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders went 4 of 16 passing for 47 yards and an interception. He was sacked twice for negative 27 yards. And most of those passing yards came on the final possession, by the way. He was like 2 of 14 before that or something.
Well, that was the most important possession. They had a chance to tie it.
Yeah, sure, cool. Yes, absolutely. And, when the defense is playing prevent and doing whatever, you got to do.
Yeah, didn't work.
Here's all I'll say about this, okay? I got nothing against the kid. I honestly don't. I got nothing against anybody. And I want everyone to succeed. I really
Peace
do.
And love.
I want everybody to succeed. But I am sick and tired of people making shit up, okay?
Tell me.
Here's the reality, okay? Every team in the NFL had an opportunity to draft Shedeur Sanders. And every team in the NFL, with their scouting departments, with their analytics departments, with their coaching rooms, determined that he should not have been a high draft pick. Okay? Now, I'm speaking as somebody who has been objective this whole time and just trusted my eyes and my ears, what I saw on the field and what I heard from coaches and analysts, not from the people like the McShays or whatever that were like, oh, this guy should be the top 5 quarterback. No. I listened to respected football people, college football analysts. I saw it with my own eyes. I made a lot of money in the NFL draft betting Shedeur Sanders over his draft prop, and I bet a lot of money on Shedeur Sanders to not be a first-round pick. You remember, Mackenzie, I was on a pregame podcast, and I was the old and credit RJ for giving me credit because he's like, Scott Seidenberg's the only one I heard saying that Shedeur
He
Sanders
was not going in the first round. Yep.
So all these teams decided he did not have a high draft grade. The Cleveland Browns, the team that actually drafted him, put him at third string quarterback. And then he gets elevated to the second string quarterback because they traded away their 41-year-old starter. Okay?
Okay.
So, all these football people, all of them, made the decisions that he is not an NFL starter right now. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need made-up stories. I don't need to say, he's finally getting his shot. He's going to steal this job. He's a starting quarterback. He should have been starting all along.
I'm surprised they didn't make a cutaway from the Bills-Buccaneers game I was watching and say, wait a minute, breaking news.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Front page of ESPN.com is Shedeur Sanders. This was during the game. I'm on the website. It's Shedeur Sanders is in the game.
Well, let me tell you.
The number one article on the website now, as we're recording this podcast, is on Shedeur Sanders lamenting his poor performance in his debut.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go 4 for 16 with a pick and a loss either. I will say this, though. There was another quarterback who everybody passed on multiple times, who was the fourth string quarterback in training camp his rookie year, who ended up winning 7 Super Bowls. His name was Tom Brady. Yes, there's been 150 quarterbacks with the exact same story who you've never heard of because they never did anything.
Yep.
But there was one Tom Brady who Shedeur Sanders, I guess, used to meet with, for lunch or whatever.
And listen, Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft, right?
Mr. Orell. Exactly, right? There's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance.
So there is a chance. There is a chance. But you know something? I don't recall seeing any articles about Brock Purdy.
Me neither.
And how it's been.
I think he had played 5 games before people started talking about him.
It's been unfair for him or whatever.
Right.
I think the interesting thing to take a look at is if Dylan Gabriel is out with a concussion next week, and it is Shedeur Sanders in Vegas next week as the quarterback against the Raiders. The market right now has Raiders -3. If it is Shedeur Sanders at quarterback, is that line is that fair? Should it be more than -3?
Here's the thing. I think Shedeur Sanders is probably trash, like most rookie quarterbacks are trash, and the little data I have on him is trash. But the Browns quarterback play has been 33rd in the league every week.
And
Joe Flacco was rated terrible, and Dylan Gabriel's been even worse. So I'm not sure how much of a downgrade is it. I definitely would be on the Raiders if it is at the 3 price if it is Sanders.
Yeah. And the Raiders play tonight here on Monday Night Football. We'll get to that game coming up here in just a minute. Let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, who lose to the Denver Broncos in a game where the Broncos were one of my best bet of the week. Not only was this a trench report play, but the line made no sense. The Chiefs were 4-point favorites at the Broncos, and Broncos win 22-19. I said this on my VSiN show last night, Mackenzie, and I want to run it by you here on the pod. I think there's a huge difference between understanding a line and making sense of a line. Okay? I understood why the Chiefs were 4-point favorites on the road. It's Andy Reid off the bye. It's the Broncos looking terrible in the last time we saw them on national television on a Thursday night, almost losing to the Raiders. It's the Broncos at 9-2, trailing in the fourth quarter in most of their games, and people thinking that, or coming into this game at 8-2, thinking that they are, a fraudulent 8-2. And it's the Kansas City Chiefs getting healthier, looking great. Patrick Mahomes, they're still all you needed to know about what the market felt about both of these teams was that coming into this game, the Kansas City Chiefs were the second favorite to win the Super Bowl, and the Broncos at 8-2 who are in contention for the number 1 seed in the AFC and a bye were literally +18, +1,900.
Who do you think has better Super Bowl odds as we speak this early Monday morning?
Right. The Broncos have to be.
DraftKings has Chiefs at 10-1, Broncos at 13-1. Much harder path, but the Chiefs still considered the favorites to win it all.
It's just so stupid because the Chiefs are not even going to make the playoffs.
You can bet that now, which is very interesting because it's +150.
Yep. Yeah. So this is the thing. I understood why the Chiefs were favored, but it didn't make any sense why they were 4-point favorites.
I agree.
And we played this experiment when we did our game previews on our Football Friday episode. But if you tell me that we know Mile High is the second best home field advantage in the last 5 years, right? It is one of the great all-time home field advantages. Over the last 16 games, it is the number 1 home field advantage in the NFL, according to Neflo.
6-0 at home.
You're telling me 6-0 at home this year. You're telling me that Chiefs 4-point favorites over the Broncos in Mile High means that they're 6-point favorites on a neutral, meaning that if this game was at Arrowhead, the Chiefs would be 7 to 7.5 point favorites.
It didn't make sense.
I would not lay 7.5 with the Kansas City Chiefs against the Broncos ever. And 6 on a neutral makes no sense.
I think you're dead right. And I think what's really important looking forward is that the Chiefs were favored by 2 points, and then the Broncos played on Thursday Night Football, and everybody saw it. And somehow the Chiefs were favored by 4 points. It was just adding on. It was just getting on the bandwagon of, I don't trust Bo Nix, Andy Reid off a bye. But we knew all this stuff when you could have got Chiefs -2. So the fact that it moved through 3, like you said, the market was logical. There were reasons why people liked it, but it was illogical. It didn't. The sense that it made didn't make sense.
Well, I'm actually going to defend the Broncos a little bit more here, but I'm also going to defend the Kansas City Chiefs because next week the Chiefs host the Indianapolis Colts in essentially a must-win, right? Like they're
Right.
5 and
They could be 5 and 6. Wow.
Yeah, and if they lose that game, they're not going to make the playoffs. Like there's just too many things that have to happen. So at 5 and 5, it's almost like a must-win. Chiefs are 3.5 point favorites in that game right now. I mean, I'm looking up on FanDuel, and I believe it's still 3.5. We haven't really seen any movement on that. I'm telling you right now, this is the smash spot of all smash spots for the Kansas City Chiefs, and here's why. The Chiefs were just 4-point favorites on the road at Mile High. That is the market telling us that they rate the Chiefs 6 points better than the Denver Broncos.
Right.
You're following along, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the Chiefs at home at Arrowhead, strong home field, not very strong. I'd say 1.5 the standard home field, okay? Push are going to throw a 3 here, which is very important. So I'd say on a neutral, the market is telling us that Kansas City would be 2-point favorites over the Indianapolis Colts. Can we agree with that?
Maybe 3.
Okay.
Depends how much you weigh home field and how much you weigh the 3, but yeah, 2 or 3.
Okay, 2 to 3. So that means that the market is telling us, at least based off of week 11 to week 12, and I'll get to the downgrade upgrade scenario, but telling us that the Denver Broncos are 3 points worse than the Indianapolis Colts. Okay.
Wow. They've played this year, and the Broncos were road favorites at Indy.
That's the next point, okay? They played this year. The Broncos were 1.5 point favorites in Indy. They should have won that game. The Colts got an extra attempt at the field goal. And that means that on a neutral, during week 2, the Broncos were about 3 points better than the Indianapolis Colts. Yep. So from week 2 to week 12, in 10 weeks, we're saying that the Colts went from 2 points rated below the Broncos to now 3 points ahead of the Denver Broncos. We have not had a data point on the Colts. The Colts didn't play last week. They had a bye this week, right?
Right.
We have a data point here on the Chiefs who lost. I need to know the answer to one of these questions. Did the market upgrade the Colts too much, or has the market downgraded the Chiefs too much? Because I looked at the consensus power rankings, which Sam Hoppen does on Twitter, which gives all and the Colts and the Broncos are right next to each other. They're 1.3 points of difference in the consensus power rankings. All right? How can the Chiefs be 3.5 point favorites at home against the Colts when they were just 4 point favorites on the road against Denver? Unless you are telling me that you have downgraded the Chiefs by almost a field goal.
It's way too much. The Colts are off a bye. Maybe they get a 0.5 point there. But I think like you said, the Chiefs haven't been downgraded that much. This was 4.5 in the look ahead. Now it's down to 3.5. I think it's a bandwagon thing. People love to bet the Chiefs off a bye, and after that great performance, a great series of performances, and now they want to get off them. I think you're right. I think this is the time to get on them.
I think this is the time to get on the Kansas City Chiefs. Smash spot for week number 12. Chiefs -3.5. Well, before we get to week 12, we got to finish up week 11, Mackenzie. We have Monday Night Football tonight here in Vegas. The Raiders host the Dallas Cowboys. And up on the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, the Cowboys 3.5 point favorites with a total of 49.5. First place I'm going to look in this game as we construct our same game parlay like we do for each and every primetime game is I think that we need to be going under on Ashton Genty rushing yards. Now, the reason I say that is because the Cowboys made a very big acquisition at the trade deadline, bringing in big Quinnen Williams from the New York Jets. And while Quinnen Williams is not great rushing the quarterback, he is one of the highest graded run stoppers on PFF. I think having Quinnen Williams now in the middle of that defense is going to really hurt the Raiders' ability to run the football. And so my first leg here of our same game parlay for Monday Night Football, I'm going to suggest going under Ashton Genty rushing yards.
And I think if any position is ready to just fill in the gaps, literally, it would be defensive tackle. You don't need to learn the playbook to just get double teams and push the line forward. The Cowboys, by the way, have been decent on defense. They've been a terrible defense overall, but since week 7, 4th rated defense by EPA against the run in particular. I think Geno Smith, if he's going to save his career, I think this is the kind of night for him where you're against a terrible defense that, if anything, can stop the run. So maybe touchdowns, maybe interceptions, maybe just total yardage. I think we're going to have a lot of Geno Smith to talk about. What do you think?
All right, I think so. I do. Right now, Ashton Genty, that number is 63.5, by the way. So we're going to go under 63.5 rushing yards for Ashton Genty. Geno's passing yardage is at 231.5. Geno to throw for over 1.5 touchdown passes. Does that intrigue you at all?
It does. I feel like at the goal line, yeah, they're going to be going for it with Geno Smith.
So Geno over 1.5 passing touchdowns. We parlay that with Ashton Genty under 63.5 rushing yards, and that is plus 233.
All right, it's a solid base.
Okay. Now, the next thing that I'm going to suggest, because we love negative correlations, correct?
Yeah, get those prices up, and up.
Dallas Cowboys minus 3.5.
Is it negative? It's negatively correlated to the Geno Smith, but it's positively correlated to the Genty prop. So
good point. It makes it plus 233 to plus 532.
All right, so it is negative. It's more than double.
Yeah,
which is showing you that it. I like that. I mean, I thought it wouldn't pay us so much, but it's really pricing in the negative correlation to the Smith prop.
So plus 532. 3-leg same game parlay. Ashton Genty under 63.5 rushing yards. Geno Smith over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and the Cowboys minus 3.5.
Do we like Brock Bowers for another leg? A lot of people, the great Steve Fezzik might have been on this, but Brock Bowers over 75. Here's the thinking. I'll just reiterate it here if you haven't heard it from other handicappers. He had 127 yards and 3 touchdowns versus the Jaguars. He was like the one thing that anyone cared about with the Raiders. This guy's really good. Then he goes against the Broncos on Thursday Night Football. He gets 1 catch, 1 target. They're going to pay him back for what he didn't get last week. If they're just from a fan perspective, they're going to force feed him a little bit. And when I hear the word force feed, to me, I think receptions instead of yardage. So people have been on his yardage, his receptions at 6.5. I like either one.
Okay, his
receptions a little bit more.
Receptions at 6.5, it'll make it plus 959. If we go yardage over 73.5, it's 927.
So no huge difference.
No huge difference.
I'd go with receptions.
All right, so you think Brock Bowers is going to have 7 catches in this game? It's a lot.
It is a lot. He's averaging 5.5 on the season.
Yeah, I think let's just go yardage.
He's also not averaging. He's averaging 64 yards. I mean, they're pricing in that they're facing the Cowboys.
Yeah. I think I'd rather go yardage because he can get he can get 5 for 80.
Yeah, easily. I'd be really mad. He gets 5 for 120 and we lose this parlay.
That's what I'm saying, because it's just
all it takes for 110. Yeah.
All it takes is like one nice deep pass where he has the defender draped all over him and he catches the 30-yard pass, but then he shrugs the defender off of him and then walks the next 15 yards into the end zone, and it winds up being a 45-yard touchdown reception. Like, can't you just see that one play out? Kind of like the Coastin Loveland.
Yeah, and against the Cowboys defense, I especially can see that play out because, like, what do bad defenses do? They don't tackle.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to get more possessions than the Cowboys versus other teams, but you might get bigger, more explosive plays.
Okay, so Brock Bowers over 73.5 receiving yards, 4-leg same game parlay plus 927.
I like it.
It is Cowboys minus 3.5. Ashton Genty under 63.5 rushing yards. Geno Smith over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And Brock Bowers over 73.5 receiving yards. I think that's the same game parlay. Yep.
I think we're going to be live in the fourth quarter. I'll be texting you.
All right, plus 927. We'll lock that in up on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's talk some NBA, some NHL. We got a model pick coming up for tonight. Let's get to that here coming up.
Whenever I need to send roses that are guaranteed to make someone's day, the only place I trust is 1-800-Flowers.com. With 1-800-Flowers, my friends and family always receive stunning, high-quality bouquets that they absolutely love. Right now, when you buy a dozen multicolored roses, 1-800-Flowers will double your bouquet to 2 dozen roses. To claim this special double roses offer, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/WWO. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/WWO.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Here for the Lowe's early Black Friday deals? You're right on time for some of our biggest savings. We're talking up to 50% off select major appliances, plus up to an extra 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Holiday lights going up soon? Select ladders are up to 50% off right now. Get Black Friday prices without the Black Friday crowds. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 11/19. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Mackenzie Rivers has his NBA model cooking up. Good winner yesterday, Mackenzie. While we're all sweating out our NFL bets, you looked at the San Antonio Spurs even without Victor Wembanyama, and you said, I'll lay 5.5. They win by 13, 123-110 over the LA Kings. That pick was up on betterday.com, so good stuff there, Mac. And now we look at the schedule for tonight in the NBA. You got a decent amount of games here. You have a peacock game between the Bucks and the Cavs. That just sounds funny to say.
What'd you call me?
Yeah, exactly. What does your model have for tonight's NBA slate?
It likes a lot of things. Honestly, it likes way more things on a daily basis than I like, but I was very happy that I had done my handicapping work, not looking at the model. I try to keep it separate. And my number one pick, which I was hopeful for, ended up being the number one value selection that the model picked out. And that was the Cleveland Cavaliers laying 6.5 points. The Bucks have kind of come back to earth offensively. I think they're pretty one-dimensional with Giannis, but they were hitting every three last season. They're still, over the last 6 games, they're hitting 44% from three. That's going to regress. They don't have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in their primes or anything. And we're starting to see it already. They struggled in 2 games versus the Hornets. Where the Cavs, they don't have Darius Garland. However, I always talk about how it's difficult to reincorporate guards that are ball heavy. I think they're more accustomed to playing through Donovan Mitchell, who's having a hell of a season, who's having like an MVP-like season, if it wasn't for what Jokic and SGA was doing. So I think this team's very comfortable. My power rankings make it 7.5, but I would actually bump it up to 8 or 8.5 because I think they're going back to what they are accustomed to over the last few weeks without Darius Garland. I think they roll here.
What's interesting is as I'm looking at our first quarter, first half database up on betterday.com, the Cavs are 1-6 at home in the first half against the spread. They're 4-10 overall in the first half against the spread.
I bet Milwaukee's always been, and a lot of teams with a dominant big are like this, just great first quarter and first half teams because teams aren't accustomed to that size and ferocity that Giannis brings. So if you want to hedge out a little bit or if you just want a different, more complex portfolio, I don't mind the Bucks in the first quarter. Cavs eventually find their sea legs and roll, but Bucks in the first quarter makes sense. Or
something's got to give here, Mackenzie, because on the road this season, the Milwaukee Bucks are 0-6 on the first half ATS.
Really?
Yeah.
Someone's going to get a win.
Something's got to give. It'll be tied going into the locker room, but then that means a Bucks cover
Bucks
at the plus price. Check out our first quarter and first half database up on betterday.com. Click the drop down menu there next to the NBA tab. You get all that information. All right, on the ice tonight, Mackenzie. I was hoping that we were gonna get like some good back-to-back situations, honestly, because I love like fading, like the back-to-backs. And like the first thing that I looked at, I was like, oh, do we have a back-to-back in Toronto? Do we have a back-to-back like in Boston or in Vegas or anything like that? Not quite. Womp, womp, womp. But we do have a couple of interesting games here on the schedule, including the Hurricanes are in Boston, where the Bruins are 8-3 at home this season. So they have played well there in Boston. Carolina minus 185 road favorites in that one. Take a look at our databases up on betterday.com, and you'll see that in the first period, you can certainly take advantage of teams that are high-scoring first-period teams, like the Anaheim Ducks, who are in action here tonight. Quack, quack, quack goes the Ducks. On the season, if we're looking at just the first period overs, the Anaheim Ducks are 12-6 to the over in the first period this season, Mackenzie. They will take on the Utah Mammoth, who are 10-8 to the over in the first period this season. But with Anaheim scoring and allowing goals, I might take a look at that first period over here between the Ducks and the Mammoth. Again, check out the NHL database available for you up on betterday.com on the drop-down menu next to the NHL tab. So much stuff we have rolling out on the website, Mac. This is like
absolutely. And if you enjoyed the 6-3 performance of the model last Wednesday, I'm just looking at these model picks, and I think they're gonna hit, and I want you to share in the fun. So gonna be a write-up on all of the 5 model picks. One of them's my best bet I gave you with the Cavs up on betterday.com.
Oh, so this is like a Monday surprise. Usually usually this was going to be a Wednesday model thing, but we like Monday model.
There's just too much value here. I have to share it.
Oh, this is
I can't be the only one cashing these tickets tomorrow night.
This is sick. All right, so Mackenzie's Monday model. That'll be featured up on the website. We'll make sure you guys get that coming up a little bit later on today up on betterday.com. We have some really big announcements coming this week. So I'm going to make sure that everybody that's listening to this podcast, everybody that follows along on the website, it gets all the information. We'll have some stuff on the website. I'm going to email probably an announcement email to all of you subscribers. We'll put a little article up on the website as well, detailing everything that we have coming your way. But I appreciate each and every one of you that has tweeted in so far about your wins on like cashing on the first quarters or the first halves or the first period stuff with our databases. The Trench Report, which continues to absolutely dominate. How about the outright wins in the Trench Report, Mackenzie, for the Broncos over the Chiefs, the Jaguars over the Chargers? I mean, the Commanders, they went into overtime and lost. I mean, come on. The number one biggest mismatch was the Steelers. That was a runaway victory. Like, the Trench Report continues to deliver each and every week. So thank you guys for following along, and stay tuned for some big announcements of what we got coming up here on the website side and with you guys here. Hit us up on social media. Stay tuned once again for the announcements that we have coming up on the website side and the newsletter side, and more collaborations as well. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.